It's my privilege to introduce our next Hall of Honor inductee, Kasiguran. Kai's introduction is written by his head coach, our former head coach, Dave Brandt, and Dave writes, "I'm beyond honored to be able to write in support of Kai Kasiguran on the evening of his induction into the Messiah College Hall of Honor. It's hard to even know where to start when talking about Kai the player. Clearly the most decorated, most highly touted, and big-time player we ever recruited. Everyone wanted Kai. From Division I to Division III and everywhere in between, an athletic and technically gifted, creative, and supremely graceful center midfielder, Messiah won the lottery the day he chose to be a Falcon. His leadership, grace, skills, tenacity, and pure competitiveness took Messiah to 4 Final Fours and 3 national championships in his 4 years. But it's difficult to know where to start when talking about Kai the player. While it's difficult to know where to start when talking about Kai the player, it is not difficult to know where to start when talking about Kai the person. A great, great player, very, very gifted on the field. But in addition to that, a wonderful and caring person in all things. His music, acting, academics, friendships, and other relationship, as a big brother and sibling, and the way he always treated his mom and dad. In everything Kai did, simply genuine and quality in person you could not have defined. Kai, we were all graced by being able to watch you play for 4 years on the field. Truly a gift, and I mean that sincerely. I'll never forget watching you glide over Shoemaker Field, but we've also been graced by all of our relationships with you. Whatever we are category, teammate, friend, family, coach, whoever we are, we love you and offer our most sincere congratulations on an honor more than well deserved. Congrats, Kai. We love you.
The last time I had to give a speech at a banquet related to Messiah Soccer, I wept like a baby. Any of the current players that are here, you have that to look forward to. So hopefully I won't do that again tonight. And I just want to thank the school for this honor. It's an unbelievable honor. Sussy and I were catching up on it before. Really, I can't put words into joining the esteemed group and those who will join us down the road. And I want to thank the school for such a lovely event and this great picture, which you'll see I'm about to use my left foot, which I probably did 6 times in my career at Messiah. So you really had to dig deep, Jack and Matt. I don't know where you found that, but well done. And I really, when Jack called me several months ago and let me know of this honor, I got a little emotional on the phone, which I was not expecting. Kind of came out of nowhere. I was in my office at work, and it touched me, and it made me realize how special it was, because a lot of times you don't think about it as you move on in life, that I had this kind of quiet moment of misty eyes as I thought back on my time at Messiah and this gift, really. He also mentioned that there would be a short 5 to 7 minute speech, and I guess it's my understanding that members of the current team sent a message down asking if Keaton, my brother, could take my 5 minutes because he's a legendary storyteller, which I'd be happy to do, but if you're associated with Messiah Soccer, you know that Keaton could totally finish a mile in 5 minutes, but he could not finish a story in 5 minutes, so but as I was thinking about what I would share tonight, and reflecting on my time at Messiah, as everyone, I'm sure everyone who gives these does, they think about the lessons that they learned. And there were so many that I learned. I just jotted down some here on my phone. Finish stronger than you started is something that was a core principle, and that sticks with me whether I'm out running, exercising now, whether I'm making sure the debits are on the left and the credits are on the right from an accounting perspective at work. That it's a guiding principle in life. Be low maintenance, trying not to be a high maintenance person. My wife might not fully be there with me that I'm achieving the low maintenance, but I'm trying. Self-sacrifice. These are all things that at Messiah I got to see lived out by my teammates, lived out by the coaches, and what's most important is I got to see the results of doing that. I also learned that there are a few things in life that are more intimidating than a mustached man of middling height with matchless intensity, which is a Coach Brandt reference, for those of you notice. But really, what Coach Brandt and Coach McCarty really led as the team was I got to see and live and experience the power and potential of a group of teammates who love each other and who aspire to really high ideals and are willing to give everything for those ideals. And to experience that when that happens, real important things can happen. Really powerful things can happen, but it does take that full sacrifice. And I know that when I talk to other people in the world, other athletes that I played with after school, I learned from them that they understood those principles, but they hadn't gotten to see it lived out, and they didn't see that it was real. And that is a motivating force in my life that I have only the school and my teammates and the coaches to thank for really ingraining that in my life. I knew those lessons growing up, but Messiah is really where I started to see the effects of selling out all the way to that ideal, which is a lesson that is unspeakable to speak to, and I hope that my kids have the opportunity to have that lesson. But the real thing that I wanted to share tonight, I think, when I was reflecting on what I would share, it really took me all the way back to when I was recruited by Coach Brandt, and he had some very atypical, unconventional recruiting methods. Some of the ways that he recruited me. Many schools, for those that have gone through the recruiting process, they wine and dine you, and they tell you how much they want you and how important you are. Coach Brandt did some of that, but mostly he told me, he said, we don't need you. We'll be good without you. We want you, but we'll be fine. We have a plan. He once told me, he once sent me an email, and if you've ever gotten a Coach Brandt email, this will sound familiar, but he sent me an email, and it was the formation that would be the starting lineup of my freshman year if I came to Messiah, in formation, with me in the lineup, and the only other thing the email said, that's a good lineup, with like 50 periods at the end of it, going off into 50. He also told me, and this may have been stretching a little too far, that it was God's will for me to come to Messiah. Turns out he was right. But one thing that he said to me that really sticks out, he says, if you come to Messiah, it won't be easy for you, but it will be worth it. And what I didn't know then, and what I didn't even know at my time here, but as I think back and reflect on it is, and any athlete will know this, is that coming to Messiah was going to involve suffering and pain, but it would be a suffering that would be transformative and change who I was and make me a better player and a better person, and it certainly did. And like I said, I didn't really know that at the time, but as I've lived life, as I've gotten older, as we all do, you experience different forms of suffering. And what I learned here at school, and what I learned from Coach Brandt, Coach McCarty, and my teammates, is to see suffering through the lens that is transformation from a Christian worldview. That there can be joy in suffering. Any athlete knows that when they're suffering in training, not only is it for the good end, but a lot of times we like it, which is weird. I didn't enjoy all of my suffering at Messiah, but I enjoyed most of it. And the reason why is because I was sold out 100% belief in the end product of what it was accomplishing in me and what it was accomplishing in my teammates, and ultimately what it was going to help us accomplish in the season. And I knew it without a shred of disbelief. It was full conviction. And that, through that full conviction, I was able to experience the suffering of training, the suffering of training for the mile as a joyful experience most of the time. And as I'm an adult now with children and living life and moving on, reminding myself of that lesson, that the path to joy in suffering is actually holding in your hand that belief in what God is doing, and that He's conforming you to the image of Christ through suffering. And the reason why I'm able to see that a little bit more clearly in life now is because I got to see it happen on the field and in training with my teammates. And that is something that I cannot thank the school enough. I can't thank my teammates and my coaches enough for exposing me to that. Lastly, I guess to end, I just want to say thanks to the school, as I've been saying. I want to say thanks to Coach Brandt and Coach McCarty. I wish Coach Brandt could have been here. Obviously, he can't. Thanks to my teammates. Thanks to the current guys for coming out and the other student athletes. That's awesome. My brothers and sister who can't be here. Almost my entire family's here tonight, which is amazing, coming from all over the country. Thanks, guys, for coming, and thanks for your support throughout the years. Jesse, thank you for supporting me here at school when we were here. And as we continue on in life. And lastly, I just want to thank my parents for literally everything. I wouldn't be up here, I wouldn't be a soccer player without all that you guys have done through the years. And thank you for, when you came to school, my parents would drive 6 hours out to watch a 90-minute soccer game in which I might only play 50 minutes and then drive 6 hours home all on the same day. And they would do that over and over. And even having my own kids, I don't fully understand that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you are to me. And thanks again for this honor.